Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? A Rooster here in Tennessee, just breaking away here for a minute to do a little video here, a little FYI, I guess, or a heads up video. I like to do stuff like this every now and again, kind of give people that don't know a heads up or be on the lookout type thing. I'm not going to blast anybody in particular or point out any examples in particular. Don't necessarily want to do that. But I will say something I've been noticing a little bit of here and there, especially on eBay. I notice this a lot on eBay. You've got these older amps, transistor amps, I should be more specific, transistor type amps that were built around Toshiba 2879s, bass amps in particular is what I'm talking about. Now these bass amps were using Toshiba 2879s, and when they were built using unregulated power supplies. And a lot of times these unregulated supplies, the transformers in them, if you see the old iron core transformers, not like the switching supplies that everybody uses today, these are actual transformers, iron core heavy transformers. A lot of times those things, they don't have a low tap for voltage or anything, so they're running 18 and a half volts on idle. Sometimes they'll drop to 17 and a half. I have seen some of them that idle 19 to nearly 20 volts and then only drop to 17 and a half or 18 when you key down. And the issue with that is those amps are becoming basically dinosaurs and obsolete because Toshiba transistors are no longer made, no longer available. And what we have now is the HG type transistor, which is fine. You just have to run them within the parameters. But the problem that I'm seeing is you have a lot of these amps that were built. I mean, my goodness, there's probably hundreds and thousands of them out there. And rather than, when someone blows a transistor in it, rather than finding a used Toshiba transistor to patch it up or buying a new one, which part of me can say who can blame them, but rather than doing that, doing it the right way, they will pull the Toshiba transistors out, I'm assuming sell the ones that are good, and then they will replace it with HG transistors. Okay, in a mobile amp, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. You can pull the Toshibas out. You can refill it with HG transistors, and as long as you're hooking it up to a regulated supply that doesn't have crazy high voltage, you're good to go. But in a bass amp, you start running into an issue. And there's amps out there, like I said, I'm not going to point anybody out. I'm not going to call anybody out. But I will say that eBay is a common place for this, that I see this. They will refill it with HG transistors, but you've still got this power supply that's running 16 and a half volts at best, 17, 18 and a half, and you might even be able to show somebody it working. I mean, you'll be lucky if you don't mess it up, in a quick period of time, a short period of time, I should say. But they probably show you the thing doing power, but it won't last long. You're basically buying a money pit if you do that. You're going to have problems. The standard HG 2879, my opinion, the absolute max I would run one would be 15 volts. Really, you want to stay around 14.5. That's my opinion. Some people may disagree with me and tell you to do otherwise. But these unregulated power supplies that are in these bass amps that have these iron core transformers in them, sometimes they have lower taps for lower voltage settings. A lot of times they don't. And if that's the case, you are buying something that's going to be nothing but trouble for you. So be on the look for that. So the thing to look out for, if you're buying a bass amp, a used bass amp, transistor type amp, specifically off eBay, you want to get inside pictures of it. If you see transformers, iron core transformers, there'll be multiples of them. They had 30 amp ones, 60 amp ones, whatever. depending on the size of the amp, there'll be multiple of them in there generally. If you see that and then you see HG transistors in there, buyer beware, because chances are someone has patched that amp up just so they can move it down the road. They probably blew a Toshiba transistor, used Toshiba's $100, I guess. I don't know what the going rate is on them. Probably $100 for a good one. And then new ones, I've seen people sell them for $150 and $200. I think RF Parts was selling them for $200 before they ran out. So, it's you see people's side of that while they're doing that, but that doesn't really justify it, because they know that you're going to have problems with that amp, because you're running too much voltage on the standard HG transistor, and they just did a quick fix, easy way to patch it up, and they're going to move it on, let it be somebody else's problem. Like I said, not blasting anybody in particular. I'm not going to post any links to anything. Just know those type of things are going on out there, and it's something to be aware of, because it can end up costing you a lot of money. I guess second thing to touch on is you see these unregulated power supplies that people are selling, and they can't hardly give them away anymore, because Toshiba transistors are no longer being made. They're basically, relics, I guess you'd say. They're obsolete. I've seen people trying to sell 400 amp regulated power or unregulated power supplies, that run 17 and a half, 18 volts. They're selling them for dirt cheap, $400 and $500. The reason being, you can't just hook a HG amp up to that. And somebody out there that doesn't know might see that and they'll say, "Oh, hell, I want to get that, man. $400, that's a deal." Rooster or Dave Made or Fat Boy or whoever, they're selling these 400 amp power supplies for $1,000, $1,200, and then you see one out there, 400 amp unregulated for whatever, $400 or $500, maybe even less. I mean, I've seen people price them ridiculously cheap just because there's not really a lot of applications for them anymore. Just know, you buy one of those power supplies, you hook up your whatever amp you get, if it's got standard HGs in it especially, you're going to be seeing some smoke roll. So that's just my heads up video, I guess, for the day. Like I said, it's not always about selling stuff on here, making a dollar. Sometimes it's about saving somebody from getting burned, because there's nothing more discouraging in this hobby than buying something, especially if you're new or getting back into it, or maybe you're getting into it for the first time, and you get burned on a piece of equipment like that. It can be real discouraging and make you want to get out of the business completely. So trying to help people avoid that. Just be on the lookout, guys. If you see something like that, HG transistors with iron core transformers, I would say 9 times out of 10, you're probably better off staying away from it, unless you can verify what kind of voltage that power supply is running off of, whether it be a power supply inside of a base amp or a separate power supply outside of it. Just be careful. Like I said, the 2879Cs, people are running them 15 to 16 volts and seem to be having pretty good luck. But the standard HG 2879s, 15 volts, absolute max. I would really recommend about 14.5 on them. Okay, everybody, I think I rambled on long enough. Everybody have a good day out there. I got to get back to packing over here. Questions, comments, complaints, let me know. Shoot me a text, 423-299-3535. Rooster in Tennessee. See you, bye.